West. I live with my fiance and will soon be married. How can we get right with God in the meantime when moving to separate places is not financially possible? Okie dokie. One of the things that you have to look at as you consider this is you made a statement there that I understand the premise, but I have to kind of reject it out of hand. And the reason for that is this, is that God makes it very, very clear that he doesn't ask us to do things that we haven't already been equipped to do. And so because I've been doing this for 35 years, however long it's been in ministry, and I've seen this many, many times, that if you're in a situation there where you really just believe there's no way that we can work this out, I promise you that you can. Because what you're saying is that we are in a position where we can't help but either be involved in sin, which God is very specific about. If you go to 1 Peter chapter 4, it says that if we reject that immorality is unacceptable before God, we're actually rejecting the Holy Spirit within us. So this is a big deal. Or we're saying, well, at least we'll have to stay together, and therefore through the process of that, we'll have very clearly the appearance of evil. Now you've got the 1 Thessalonians 5:22 to avoid even the appearance of evil. And so the reality is that you could do it. I mean, realistically, you could figure out a way to stay with a friend, and you think, oh gosh, I don't know how we can do it till we can prepare our wedding. Well, there's a problem right there. Well, you know, it's going to take us 6 or 8 months to plan no. You actually could, a week from now, go down to the Justice of the Peace, or you go a variety of places. You say, oh, well, we don't want to do that, so you want to have a big wedding. Well, then quit doing what you're doing, all right? You see, the reality is what's happening here is not that I can't fix this problem, but there are certain things that I want. And on the one hand, I want to have this wedding that I, can plan and do big, great. And on the other hand, I don't want to wait to be involved sexually until after I'm married. Not okay. So what's it going to be? What you have to realize is that we're put in a position many times where what we're battling against is our own wants and our own desires, and that's called sin. That's what we struggle with. And so you do have an opportunity to be able to step back and go, you know what? And I really do recommend, ideally, I recommend, I'm not saying this biblically, so you can blow it off, but I really do recommend a time of separation. And I don't mean how much time, I really don't. But a time away, because having done this for a long time and counseled a lot of people, I've got to say that people who were living together and then just got married, many times it causes some kind of guilt, latent guilt after the fact, because they never even took a little bit of time to go off limits. The reality is that there's a point to be made there. So, again, that's my opinion. Don't have to take that opinion if you don't want to. But I think wisdom would say that there's probably a good idea to give it at least a little, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. A time apart to be able to go, you know what, we're going to do this right. And you say, oh, we just can't keep our hands off each other. Welcome to the human race, okay? And so don't see each other. That would be one way to keep your hands off of each other. Don't even be around. Guys, there are ways to resolve this. Listen, we are not animals. We have the capability to be able to do that which is right, should we choose to do that. And the reason I know that that's true, I know that there's no way you say, I can't help it, is, first of all, Romans chapter 1 and Romans chapter 2 says, every one of us will stand before God without excuse. No excuses, guys. We can't say, oh, I couldn't help it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, it says, there no temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to people, and God is faithful, and he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. With each temptation will provide a way of escape that you may endure it. God always provides a way of escape. So here's the deal. I want to challenge you, decide you're going to obey God. Regardless of what that means, you're going to obey God. With that in mind, then begin to take the steps forward to be able to do that. Also understand that the Bible talks about the importance, first of all, getting right with God. Getting things right with God would be very important before you take that step in getting married. So I'd really challenge you to do that. If you say, well, my fiance isn't up with that, then you're marrying the wrong person. All right? The reality is if they're not interested in following God and God ultimately in every part of life, you're just looking for heartache and problems anyway. And so God's already trying to give you a sense of wisdom to be able to do that. If you say, well, if I do this, I'll lose him or I'll lose her, lose him quickly. It'll benefit your life in a great way in the long run, because you've got to be on the same foundation in that relationship with God. Real important.